There's a rumor circulating today that PC MLA Sandra Jansen is finally throwing her hat into the PC leadership race. Now, Jansen has the backing of the progressive wing of the PC party. We out here in the rest of Alberta know those people as committed NDP voters. But to celebrate Sandra's foray into leadership politics, let's examine some of her greatest hits. There was that time that she endorsed Alison Redford.
I spent a lot of years in front of the camera asking questions of politicians, and one of the things I quickly realized is that there are a lot of politicians who really never answer questions when asked. That's one of the things I love about Alison Redford, is she listens carefully and thoughtfully. That's the kind of leader I want in my province, and that's the kind of leader I think we have in Alison Redford.
There was that time that she said carbon taxes were like a Christmas present.
Mr. Speaker, I think I want to take a moment to, as well under 29(2)(a), to thank the member for Calgary Mountain View for fighting for a carbon tax and fighting for the environment all these years. And I think it's got to feel especially bittersweet to get to a point where there finally is a plan and the plan doesn't measure up. It's like waiting 20 years for Christmas, and then when it finally comes, you open the present and there's nothing inside.
Oh, Santa, you must think we were very, very bad this year. There was that time that Jansen went on a deranged rant about the right people in the legislature. Right people meaning Conservatives, that left her caucus mates red with embarrassment, and the NDP cheering for her from across the aisle.
I'd like to share a little story right now that I like to call the right people. It's a story of the pitfalls that one can face when they don't associate with the right people or have the benefit of the right ideas. Now, we're beginning to get an idea of who the right people are. They raise a ruckus at the idea of coming into work at 9 a.m., not because they're lazy, but because they have no computer and support staff. The right people know the best way to help an abused woman get out of a lease is to add the swearing of a statutory declaration to their burdens. They have a limitless energy for outrage, pointing out all manner of tax dollars wasted, yet they filibuster with glee. And when their bills and motions are rejected, they bring them back over and over. Now we see the right people are prepared to introduce Bill 201, likely to be uniquely known as yet another recall act. And they're doing it for the third time in a row. So while Alberta is dealing with a serious economic crisis, low commodity prices, increasing debt and unemployment, the right people are intent on making us relive a political issue that was dealt with in the 1930s by the Social Credit Party. The right people can help you decide who to talk to and who not to talk to. Like, for heaven's sake, do not talk to B-list reporters. And for heaven's sake, do not articulate your position on social issues. In fact, push them way, way down the list, like past 100, so the public cannot absorb just how unpalatable they actually are. We are so lucky, Mr. Speaker, in this House to know the right people who proudly state they wouldn't legislate on social issues, because the right people don't need to protect the vulnerable, they don't need to stand up for parents or start their workday at a reasonable hour. And what kind of province would we be, Mr. Speaker, if we did things like that?
There were those times that Jansen voted with the NDP nearly half the time on NDP departmental budgets. In 11 out of 23 votes, Jansen broke ranks and supported the NDP, while the rest of the actual Conservatives in her caucus voted with the other actual Conservatives in the Wild Rose over 95% of the time. There was that time that Jansen campaigned for the federal Liberals and Liberal MP Canter. So if you think a Premier Sandra Jansen would take on the federal Liberals and take them to task for their job-killing carbon tax and their destructive plans for Alberta, well, you'd be dead wrong. Jansen helped get those job killers elected. And then there was a time that she threatened to quit if Jason Kenney won the leadership of the PC party. Look, Sandra, don't threaten me with something I want or any self-respecting Conservative would want. Threats don't work that way. The progressive Conservatives have a lot of introspection to do. Are they going to go it alone and hope those disaffected Wild Rosers who left their party will come back? Are they going to bring the two Conservative parties closer together? Or are they going to be the NDP in a blue dress? For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunreid. Send Sandra Jansen and anyone else who supports that job-killing carbon tax on everything a message. Go to stopthecarbontax.com and sign our petition.